much time with kids?
Children are strange and foreign to me. I never really was one. I was very, very busy when other children were playing. I would look out the window, of course, and I would see that they were playing soccer and football and all of these things, and I never really felt like I was a part of that. I felt as if I had important things to look at and study. I guess what I wanted to do was just take 3 test tubes and a small skin sample and go into a room and break it down. You know, everybody was saying, "Would you want a candy? Would you like a football? Would you like a rattle? Here's a rattle." And I wanted to break down the rattle. What makes this rattle? What is that rattling around inside there? And in fact, I did. I chewed on it. I broke it open. I saw that there were these little beads that made the rattle make that sound, and that was quite fulfilling to me. Of course, after that, I was a very, very big fan of rattles. I made it quite a study of the sea snake for a while, and then I was bitten. I was bitten on the left leg. I was paralyzed on one side of my body for quite some time. I will go anywhere and do anything to accomplish my research, and that's what I'm trying to say to you, Dr. Montgomery, is I'm here merely as a watcher, a viewer, and a facilitator. I've done a lot of course, not deep study of the snake. I have studied its movements. I have studied the way they transport themselves, and I've got a rash from that. I've been bitten 4,500 times, and have built up an immunity to certain venoms. I've milked, how many snakes have I milked? They used to call me Old MacDonald at the snake lab, because I would milk, and I got up and I milked them all day, and those little udders are so hard to get a hold of, you know, because it's just surprising how nature hides things, you know, on a snake.
Do you tend to feel like you're misunderstood people?
What do you mean by that? Oh, misunderstood? Well, you know, let's hope so. Let's certainly hope so, because I really believe that on a scientific level, yeah, sooner or later we won't even be speaking. You know, much of human language isn't necessary. I find it as a sometimes even a way to deceive or mask or bury your feelings, to skirt around real issues. I find that I've always wanted to do a hypothesis on that, a study of some sort, a controlled experiment with dolphins and street people, and just get them to babble endlessly. And I've also found that sometimes the less I say, the more chance I have of getting laid.
Gets you concerned that you might have a tattoo and that one long eyebrow?
Well, why? I mean, it's crazy. As you see, I really can't see without my glasses, but I have no brow at all. I lost my brow. I was doing an experiment with killer whales at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and I was sitting there I had a kipper in my mouth. I was standing on the side of we were doing a kind of a stunt in between, and Pookie came up, and I don't think he meant to, you know, they're very loving animals, but he severed my brow, and he was trained to kiss, and yet he raked. He kissed and raked. The tongue hit, and then the raking happened, and I've never had a brow since then. But I don't feel I miss it.
What is your ethnic background then?
I'm Italian, Italian-American. I'm Stephano. My name is Stephano, and I am an Italian man. Yes, it's steeped in tradition. I love to cook. I don't want you to think that I'm all business either. I can have fun. I can be fun. On a long trip, I can be a lot of fun.
So South American.
Do you play cribbage?
No.
Because I have played some cribbage in my day, and they called me. Well, they've called me many things, but good cribbage player is what they called me. I have not tried the newer of the bubble gums. When you blow, of course, into a large wad of bubble gum in your mouth, the pressure is forcing the volume of the air on the outside of the bubble is, of course, having to compensate for the space incurred by the bubble. This causes a shift of pressures. And, on the slightest of levels, a human could never, ever feel that, and yet a snake would know a bubble is being blown in the room. The small cremolians, for lack of a better word, on the sides of their heads are very sensitive. I found them. A lot of people didn't know they were there until I did. They were up. Well, I was combing my snake, and I found a sensitive spot. Obviously, he turned. He hissed. I knew it wasn't his fault. I had been bitten so many times on the lower lip. Actually, I don't know why. A lot of this is reconstructed. As you can tell, my mustache is a little askew. It's because of the reconstruction. I think they did one heck of a job. I was feeding the moray, and of course I got cocky, and that's all it takes. That's all it takes is one time. And I put the kipper in my mouth, and of course the moray, what a lot of people don't know, you wonder, this is not a tremendously strong animal. I mean, sure, it has a certain amount of strength, but how can it pull a man's face into a cave? What it does is locks or anchors its tail to a rock inside the cave, and will get much more leverage that way. Picture this now: kipper, mouth, moray coming at me. I really didn't have time to think. Well, I saw a lot of bubbles. The moray hit, raking across, and yet grabbing onto the mandible, grabbing onto my mandible. They have horrible breath, by the way. And long story short, the bends and the reconstructive surgery have left me somewhat slower than I was. I have trouble putting sentences together.